What it do, what it don't, what it will, what it won't. It's another Friday. That means it's another opportunity to get together and record the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. This is where businessmen get together to discuss sports in a very entertaining fashion. We do it one way and one way only, rough, rugged, and raw. Today's episode is going by the title of Somebody Call Security. When those three words are uttered, no matter the volume, there's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of something got to be done. And today, in sports, business, entertainment, today on the Ball Hog Sports Talk, today, as we share both our personal stories and we discuss the stories from the sports world, business and entertainment world, something got to be done. So today's episode is going by the title of Somebody Call Security. If you have never been a part of the experience that is known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk, I can guarantee you, boys and girls, cats and rats, dogs and frogs, that you shall be entertained. Make sure that you pour yourself a nice, tall glass of something. Make sure that you're relaxed and make sure that you are dialed in for the Ball Hog Sports Talk. No further ado. Let's get this thing going. Another episode. It's the Somebody Call Security episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. And let's go.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go.
Once again, it's on. I get the distinguished pleasure of being in front of this microphone and sharing this particular screen with the man, the myth, the legend. Thou who shall be intergalactically known and respected as. And when you say it with reverence and respect in your voice. He's from the Middle Coast. He is the Big Flow Show, who is in the building today. What's up, Big Flow?
Yeah, what's good? What's good, man? Weather's changing. We had 92 degrees last night. It was...
Shout out in the Middle Coast, you're at 92.
You know, it's crazy around here because it's the weather's almost never good. It's 74 right now. I want to jump off and just be outside for a few minutes because it's probably going to be 1,000 degrees, and then it'll be 52 degrees.
Have no in between. There's no middle ground there, huh?
Pray for me. Baby girls graduating. They had a nice little program last night. A lot of these kids, talent's coming back. A lot of kids at their school can sing. They were playing stuff, people getting out there, belting out some songs. It was pretty nice.
You enjoyed the program. Good for you, man.
Graduation, I'm getting old. I did play a couple video games while it was going on because my baby girl wasn't singing. So I could still listen, though. But I sat in the stands. I had a little thing with a program. There's a kid in her grade, real good friend of my daughter's who took his own life. So they did a lot of tributes to him, which was sad. You know, I'm getting old where stuff actually makes me sad. But it was rough. It hit my household really hard. My daughter was actually there, you know, when it happened. So
sorry to hear that. But they paid homage to the students.
Teachers did. A lot of people just kept talking about him. His name was Sean. I'm fortunate I don't have his last name with me, but they threw him out there a lot, man. So I think that if I was his parents, I'd have been in my feelings about the tribute, you know, because they didn't have to do that, right? Sometimes you want to leave the tragedies and ugliness out, but it was good. So now the actual graduation is Sunday. When my son graduated, it was too many people. I couldn't get in. We made him come back from college to graduate, and we didn't even get in.
So he didn't have a ticket.
He graduated. We just didn't see it. We couldn't get.
Oh, you literally couldn't get in the graduation.
Me and my wife, we got there too late. We got some, you know.
So they call security on you. Somebody call security. These people ain't got no ticket. It's late. It's after the time frame.
My wife ain't on time for Nathan. So she just figured they was gonna hold her 250-yard line seats.
That's not how that works.
I sat outside on the light pole. So stupid. Made him come back.
So this time, but this graduation for your daughter,
We
you're
about
gonna
to
be
go
there.
now. It starts Sunday. We about to when we get off this thing. We heading up now.
That means the penalty it served its purpose.
It served its
I
purpose.
bet you won't be late again. I bet.
I'm watching, baby. Now he didn't give a damn. He thought it was funny. Baby girl, they may cost me some bread. She's gonna be so mad the guilt trip if we don't make it.
Make it to the graduation.
She, as soon as graduation's over, she's gonna say, "Send me the pictures." She don't know what I took. Send me
Mars and Venus, brother. As long as you know that there's a difference between Mars and Venus, that makes you a successful and very vibrant father. Because you cannot do the same thing with your son that you did with your daughter. But that's
mine is 15 days until I'm an empty nester.
Empty nester, man. That's what's up. Now let me ask you this before we hop in, because it'll lead us to how this title came to be. At your graduations, actually, your son and your daughter graduated from different high schools. So, but at the last graduation, if you've gotten the early instructions for this high school graduation, do they let the parents belt out in support of the students as they graduate? Are they threatening if they dance, they don't get their diploma? Is there some sort of security mechanism to make sure that there's protocol in the graduation? And shall you adhere to said protocol if there is such thing?
So first of all, I don't believe there's rules because I wasn't looking for none. So I would claim no.
You want them. I'd rather ask for forgiveness. I'm not asking for permission.
So I don't want to see I've been seeing the videos of people juking and stuff. So I showed my son. I said, "Do I have to tell you when I'm doing this?" He said, "No, you don't have to tell me nothing." But I do. I might could tell my daughter that she ain't gonna do nothing that ratchet, but she could dance. She likes to have a good time. But she goes to a school where there's not a lot of flavor, so she probably won't do nothing like that. I yelled her name out yesterday when she was walking down in the little thing. I don't care. Nobody told me to shut up. They better not tell me to shut up. I could hear it if they did, but we're gonna do something.
You want them, the wish theory. I wish.
I was the one who used to scream out her name during dance recitals. Quiet as hell in there. Bella! I don't give a damn.
Making the whole race look bad. You just make us all look bad because everybody looking at you like
I don't.
The black dude.
Anyway, this wasn't my demographic. I wasn't in there when we were watching the dance. I was in there by myself. So they can hate me. I don't give a damn. Maybe can discourage her from joining. I wanted her to become a volleyball player. I knew the future was something else, and it wasn't.
Boy, you cold piece of work. Cold piece of work. That leads me to how we got to this title. Everybody knows that both of us, we are credible in this space because we have thrived in sports, business, and entertainment. We have thrived in combining and compiling these things and creating experiences personally and now for another generation with our kids. We're sports dads. I had a very interesting situation happen this weekend at the Nike EYBL, Junior EYBL tournament. I guess there's no easy way to say this. And I'm not proud of it, man. I'm an educated man and an attorney, got some degrees and all that good stuff.
For reference, y'all, so is Draymond Green. Continue.
We're gonna bring up Draymond.
Continue.
I feel Draymond's pain now.
Continue.
But somehow, some way, man, I got security called on me and got escorted out the damn gym. You know what?
Maybe they tell you your parking meter had expired. Was it what they do? Were they looking out for you? Is that what?
Maybe don't get your car towed. No, man, I got escorted out the gym. So what happened was is our director, the coach's birthday. We're chilling before the game. He goes and he's coaching 7th grade. My son doesn't play 7th grade. He's 8th grade. So I go to the sideline to help our coach out. I get a text within 38 seconds of being on the sideline. And I knew at that point I just wasn't in the right mental space to be on the sideline. So I tap out immediately, right? What I didn't like is the rep lied and said I used the F-bomb. I didn't say the F-bomb amongst a bunch of kids. I just was questioning a call. Very, very, very early and what I think unwarranted technical foul. So I just tell the coach, yo, man, he's my partner, that's my man. We know each other. I'm not in the space for this. I'm gonna go over here and watch from the sideline, so I don't cost the.
You didn't know that the T came with you, huh?
No, what I did was, and here's where I'll own up my own issues. This is where people don't know the DNA. As a football player, you can't back down, right? We're guilty of it. We never back down. So when I walked over to the sideline, I thought it was a good idea to look at the same ref and say, well, now I'm not a coach, so I can say whatever I want.
He said, hold my beer.
Yeah, man. And then the F-bomb was definitely used with a bunch of other things. And that didn't even get me kicked out. He waited till the foul call. Somehow he's looking in my direction. And I used two fingers that might be positioned in the middle of my hand. And this dude left the court to go get security. Now, what helped me was everybody around me saw just how chill I was. I was sitting there talking. So they are telling security at this point, like, he didn't do nothing. He was just sitting there talking. They escorted me out. I didn't care because my son wasn't playing. The negotiation was, can I go into the next game so I could watch my son? They were saying yes. I ended up being real cool with the security. They handled it very well. But I bring that up here because I think it's very important. There was a time in 2020, circa 2020, when the George Floyd things happened, and as a country, we started trying to limit the interactions that people had with police, and we tried to not only point out Karens that employed public safety mechanisms that they didn't need to do. We try to not only point them out, but shame them, because adding unnecessary interactions with people and police officers is a catalyst to what could be an issue. I want today, because there's a lot of things that we saw in sports, business, and entertainment, right, this week, that make us have sort of a sense of urgency. When you hear those words, somebody call security, it means that someone has requested security personnel be dispatched. They need to come to the location of the situation now. It normally happens when there's a perceived threat, a disturbance, a violation of rules, security protocol that need intervention. Now, I did violate some rules. I did, but it did need intervention. There's some things this week. There's some concerns that give us concern, right? Concerns that's giving us concerns. A perceived threat, a disturbance, a violation of rules and security protocols that need intervention. So somebody called security this week, the sports, business, and entertainment. You'd be happy to know I did not go to jail. I was able to watch the rest of the game. Those security people are my friends now. And I think it's just the ref had some leftover bit of energy from another time I came in, being who I am, with a whole bunch of loud words. So it is what it is. Personal. It's personal here in this week with sports, business, and entertainment too. Because the first one that I think needs intervention, the first thing that needs intervention is we're looking at these playoffs. We've watched the higher seed get knocked off several times. We're looking at these playoffs on the heels of a season that had a drop in viewership until the Luka trade. We're looking at these playoffs. We're looking at a team like the Celtics, looking at a team like the Thunder, looking at a team like the Cavs that had these amazing regular season records. And in a way, with the parity, with some of the lower seeds knocking off the higher seeds, we're sort of proving just how meaningless the regular season is, or not. But somebody call security, because if we have this situation, let's deal with the game that's tonight. You got the Celtics playing the Knicks. On the heels of what was an elimination game, the Knicks somehow, some way, didn't show up. Boston, through its role players, and I'm talking about deep into the role player bench, figured out a way to extend this series, and now they move into Madison Square Garden tonight. But let me just tell you, the Knicks ain't won since the high top fade was the thing. I'm talking about 90s when the Knicks
That
really
was the
had
day, baby. You need to put that shit, man. Look here. Maybe that's why I'm pulling for the Knicks.
You want to, it's nostalgic, right?
You know, Brunson from Chicago. That's what it is. I've been
Brunson
watching
from
him since high
Chicago.
school.
That's why I wore this chain. I'm not pulling for the Knicks, but if the Knicks don't show up tonight in MSG and the Celtics force a game 7, everybody in the Knicks organization absolutely is going to need security. What do you think about this series so far? Jaylen Brown being the last of the two-headed monster for the Celtics needs to have another big game. We're gonna get into him because he was grabbing balls literally. What do you think about this series?
I think the Knicks have been doing great in the series. I think that the Celtics, two things happen. You know, you fire. What happens in college football after you fire a coach? 95% of the time they win the next game, right? The team that's playing thinks, yeah, I don't have a chance. Coach is fired. I mean, look what's not to switch games, but look what's happening with Denver. They fired their coach, and people having a hard time.
We're gonna get into that. Yeah.
Looking like that. So I call it that. I think that it's gonna be a decisive win for the Knicks. And,
they are a 2.5-point favorite, so you believe more in them than Vegas does. They only got a negative 2.5, minus 2.5. So, they are favored, but barely. In terms of the basketball itself, when Jason Tatum went down, because we're gonna get into the injuries as well. Somebody called security as well. It's a state of emergency when your stars are going down in the playoffs because the eyes are on. So we'll get into that. Do you think Jaylen Brown does enough that some of all of this chatter, because there's a lot of chatter about Jaylen Brown, goes away into the offseason? So you think the Knicks win? Jaylen Brown has to have a big game as the only superhero left in that Batman and Robin combo. Do you think he does enough to get at least him off the hot seat?
Hot seat? You mean, what do you mean? The reigning conference and MVP champ?
Hot seat is about, it's what have you done for me lately, bro? Yes. You talking about last year? When am I thinking about that? Jaylen Brown's taking a lot of heat this year. And took a lot of heat in the last game because he hasn't delivered. He has not delivered. And he has a big paycheck that suggests monetarily he should be delivering.
I believe the man is going to be fine. If you ask me, I'm about to put a little money on this because for my money,
right now you're looking at
where my mouth is. I put a little money on this game right here because I sometimes want to make sure you realize I believe in what I say. I think he's a great basketball player. I think that when you say hot seat, what are they going to do? I mean, I guess you could be part of a trade. That would be a mistake.
Not a trade. When I say hot seat, I don't mean with the organization. I mean with the fans, right? Because when we go to the barbershops, we're going to be talking about what they did in the playoffs, right? There have been several injuries at crucial times in playoff games where
they're giving up big leads.
Now the other superstar has to do more. Jaylen Brown hasn't done more yet. It's not really – I just want to know if you believe in him enough.
I do. But I don't think they're going to win tonight. But I think that they're they had a bad series before Tatum went down. I mean, they were losing already, right?
Yeah.
And they gave up, was it 2 times they gave up 20-point leads or something like that? I mean, they had
20-point leads. Yeah.
Yeah, twice. That goes on Tatum more than Brown. Tatum is the leader, but he shares that very, very much. But at this point, if he wins tonight, he goes down in Celtics, Superman type history. You know what I mean? Like, man, he came back and they 2 times in a row they come back and they win it, tie it up, and force game 7, even if they lose, just to force it by itself. Yeah. Then that saves everything. But that just shows you how fickle and how fragile the NFL, or sorry, the sports reputations are. They'll be all right. You know what I mean? He hit a big 3 tonight. At the end of the game, they'll be all right. If he has a valiant effort, he gets the stat lines going, he'll be all right.
Well, his reputation took a hit on his own because of some of the decisions he's made. Let's check this out.
more shot attempts than us. That is very rare for the Celtics this season. New York has attempted 47 shots to Boston's 42, and you know how big Coach is on shots.
Notice the skirmish up top.
Oh, we've got some shoving right now.
For those who don't know what's happening right now, there's a little bit of a skirmish between Josh Hart and Jaylen Brown. At first sight, doesn't look like much. The camera didn't catch it. But just wait.
In an elimination game.
Notice it's a tie game in the third quarter.
When this was going to happen, we really haven't seen it throughout this series.
Elimination game.
And Hart and Brown, they got locked up right here. Here's the
shot
shot
from Hart.
And the retaliation from Brown.
These type of things probably happened a lot back in the day, but we didn't have the camera angles. Watch the man's left hand.
It took so long for these two division rivals.
That was
This should just be a double
that was a soft ass push when you start thinking about how they went back and forth.
Out on the shoulders of Brown with Tatum out.
Not trying to
He was circled as the man that had to perform in
On the play, we have a personal foul on Brown, a technical on Brown, and a technical on Hart. The technical fouls are offset. It will be New York ball on the side.
There we go.
Would you want that hairline?
That was quickly handled by Tony Brothers.
job.
Now look.
Mr. Brothers. That's all it is, and that's all it was.
The camera angle that
My
really
favorite is
shows
the shot.
Watch Jaylen Brown's left hand.
No Diddy.
You can't grab there. You can't grab there.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything so stressful. So our first example of call security is right there. Of all the things that you grab, and his hand stayed there in that particular genital region much longer than it should have. You know, you can't get away with that as accidental. These are things that used to happen on the bottom of a football pile all the time. There's some nasty things that happen. I won't ask you to
got
divulge whether or not
you know what I'm saying?
in the trenches things happen. But man, that's a crazy camera angle to watch Jaylen Brown going for that man's genital area, man.
I think maybe he just got the shorts and he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He didn't, you know, I don't know. Try to look out. He's man, I don't know. He's a very smart guy.
Very smart guy, almost too smart for his own good. He's gonna have this pressure on him tonight. They're a 2.5-point underdog tonight in Madison Square Garden. And let me look into this camera right now. For the Knicks fans, you have been as annoying as humanly possible all year. As the playoffs have progressed, my neighbors, people on my group chats that live in this area, northern New Jersey, right outside New York City area, people that have grown up being Knicks fans, they have been, I mean, just dragged through the mud over the years. Their hearts have been just punched and battered and beaten, and they want this bad. Do not lose game 6. If this game does not end in a New York Knicks victory, you heard it here first. We're going to have to call security. New York City is going to be ablaze. Madison Square Garden is going to be a straight up madhouse if the Knicks walk out here with a loss tonight, because they have figured out how to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory yet again. How are we in a game 6 situation when Jason Tatum went down about 3 minutes left in game number 4? That's when it was supposed to be over. When they were up 3-1, come back, win game 5, get out of there. A la the Minnesota Timberwolves. Knicks, there's a lot riding on the line. Somebody call security if the Knicks don't figure this out. There's been a lot of questions about Tibbs and does he push the players too hard physically. Big game tonight, Madison Square Garden. You got the Knicks coming out. I think they're gonna fumble the bag, bro. I think the Celtics, they got championship pedigree. There's something to be said about having been there before. Even though I'm not in love with some of the decisions that the young coach has made this year, we got to give him credit. He's been there before. They have won. This roster is used to being in the playoffs, used to being with their back against the wall. I'm going with the Celtics to win tonight. And all hell gonna come break loose in New York City tonight. It's gonna be fun to watch. Jason Tatum getting hurt was unfortunate. I'll just ask you this, because we say that this generation of players is soft. And while he ruptures Achilles, you have no choice but to compare his injury to Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant gets up as though he has a mosquito bite after rupturing his Achilles. He's determined to finish the play and make 2 free throws before he walks off on his own accord. That's how we remember that Achilles injury. Contrast that with Jason Tatum, who looked like he literally had open heart surgery. He looked like he was in so much pain. He got carted off in a wheelchair. And to contrast those 2 superstars with the same injury, now there might be degrees of injury, so I don't know. I don't have a medical degree of any sort. But
you know,
I do not.
Okay.
But doesn't it make you wonder? When we say somebody called security, this whole generation just looks SOF, soft. You ain't got to add the T. Soft when you see Jason Tatum, who took a lot of heat for having played soft in the series to date. All right. At that point, he had a phenomenal game. He had, I think, 42 points when he got hurt. So he finally had the game.
Load management.
But damn, that looks soft when you contrast that with Kobe Bean Bryant getting up and hitting them 2 damn free throws. Am I tripping?
Man, you know, maybe it was emotional damage. Emotional damage. You know, they had everyone tells me it feels like someone kicked you in the back of the leg. I never really hear anybody say that it was excruciating. It's more whatever. So maybe he was just dejected because he couldn't come back and win a championship for his city.
Maybe. I like that. It's
a Celtics thing because this is the same.
Why me?
Was it the same wheelchair that they used to take Paul Pierce off when he had to go boo boo?
Hey man, the Celtics keep that wheelchair on deck, don't they?
Maybe it's. I'm not from Boston. Maybe there's a protocol, like you have to. You know, like when your wife has a baby, she has to go in a wheelchair to the door. She can't walk.
I mean, that's the only thing that would make this.
It could be a hip. It could be some HIPAA type stuff. Some OSHA type. You
know? Should be a good game tonight. We shall see. Somebody called security, Knicks. Y'all had security called on my man Charles Oakley and had him walked out the damn Madison Square Garden arena.
So they got security just like they have wheelchairs
I know they got
in Boston.
Security on that.
They got security over there.
If they don't win this game tonight, if the heart of all New Yorkers,
they're gonna win.
Bongers, the most annoying, maybe just shy of the Dallas Cowboys, the most annoying fan base in all of basketball. I'm a Heat fan, I'm biased. But y'all extra Knicks fans. If the Knicks do not win game 6, this elimination game in Madison Square Garden, somebody call security. The whole city will be ablaze. Good luck. I'd be lying if I said I'm rooting for y'all. Come on, Celtics.
Come on,
that'll be the last time I ever said.
Come on, Knicks. Never gonna root for Boston.
The injury of Jason Tatum does bring us to other injuries, man. If you think about it, right, it's like that series, Jaylen Brown grabs balls is going to be a part of it, but that series will always be infamous for Jason Tatum going down. Despite the fact that they were going to lose that game in game 4 when he went down, it's going to be a dark cloud over it because of Jason Tatum's injury. The same thing could be said about Ant-Man beating Golden State. We know that Steph Curry went down to game 1 with a hamstring injury. Had they won game 5, Steph Curry would have been available for game 6, but he wasn't. So we know that we got Celtics, Knicks tonight, but these injuries are starting to mount up. And when you talk about something imminent, something that's dangerous, something that's going to disrupt protocol, these injuries this late in the playoffs, when we struggled from a viewership standpoint for about 75% of the season before the Luka trade, you see Steph Curry on the sideline. Somebody call security. There's something going on here. I hate the fact that I wanted Ant-Man to send a healthy Golden State team home. That way I have bragging rights over my son who loves Golden State. That way we can really be officially into the next chapter of stardom in the NBA. And instead, he sent a hobbling, older Golden State team home. Do you still think that the Ant-Man has the stamp of next generation? Now that he
definitely next generation.
Sent KD home last year, sent LeBron home this year, and Steph home this year. Where are we at with the Ant-Man? Or does he need to win this Western Conference final and get to a finals before we really start putting him in upper echelon of NBA greats of all time?
I think his trajectory is there and he's got time. What is this, his fourth year?
Fifth year. I don't remember a year he came in. Good question.
Well, he's still relatively young. It's an interesting time in the NBA because the changing of the guard is taking a little bit of time. Well, you see, we know seeding doesn't mean much, right? We started to lose this meaning back in the Kobe era when they would just barely make the playoffs and then go win it, right? Mm-hmm. And so seeding doesn't mean much. You don't want to read into first seed versus whatever. It really matchups are everything. But once again, a couple years in a row that I've been paying attention to it, but you've got LeBron at home. LeBron's already back from his fishing trip, right? He's on to the next. He's working on next year. You got KD, non-factor in the playoffs. Harden and
Kawhi.
And Kawhi gave it a valiant effort. But they are on there. You know what I'm saying? Their boat is circling. Ask, hey, where's my slip? I can come back shore for my fishing trip. They've been gone so long. It's just a lot of people gone. You know what I mean? Jimmy Buckets. But I love that he's still in the trade talks for next year because they're talking about getting Giannis, but Giannis is at home. Is Giannis getting old now? Or is he starting? Is he a older? You know what I'm saying? Like we have a lot of studs at home, so you have to give Ant-Man credit that he's still out there because there's a lot of NBA Hall of Fame basketball players that are still good at basketball today. They're not all the way past their prime, and they're at home, and he's still playing, and he still has work to do. The NBA is fantastic. I mean, we can talk about
security, man, because that whole generation that now is going to be the one that we think of as the LeBron era.
Yeah.
Right. So that's 22
but they're
years.
Still hanging on and fighting. They're still fighting. They're still swinging. And then the playoffs come and they get.
But that whole era better call security because Ant-Man coming.
He's coming. I don't know if he's there yet. I don't know if he's there yet, man.
If he wins this year, obviously, man, championships are the great equalizer.
I don't know if he can beat Joker, but he'll beat Oklahoma City.
Hasn't really been in an MVP conversation, meaningful season MVP. What's up, Cheeky Black? Like always, those who are watching the live viewing of the Ball Hog Sports Talk, we ask you kindly, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the podcast. My man, Chufu Shedeur Jordan in the building.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, Chufu says something, a mouthful in his comment. He's saying that, and he is you. You're saying that you are crowning him the next one because he sent your king home. Because he sent
is your king still in the NBA? Sheldon Jordan, Mr. Two Cheeseburgers away, can't keep his footsies right.
You talking about Zion Williams?
I know a lot of people just heard that said, "Oh yeah, Zion still play basketball."
He's in trade talks too.
So trade him. He should go wherever. You know where he needs to go? Wherever AD goes. So they could share the role because one of them gonna be hurt the whole time.
He hurt the worst.
But I'm saying, so don't come over here. Don't come for me, Shufu. Don't come for me, man.
Hey, Ant Edwards was drafted in 2020, so this is his 5th year, by the way. Already has an Olympic gold. Already, I think, 3-time All-Star. That's a great body of work in 5 years.
Man, it's going to be fantastic. I'm just saying, I don't know if he has that. He still has a couple disappear moments in him, you know what I mean, to be young and early and full of it like that. But then he led the NBA in threes this year. That's amazing.
And made threes. Yep.
And made threes.
Percentage went up to 39%.
amazing. For a guy that you think of as a Ja Morant type. You know what I mean? When you think of him as the same, take you to the bucket and dunk on you.
Yeah.
To lead, that's an amazing stat.
With that shooting prowess from beyond the arc,
it's amazing.
Spells trouble. And oh, by the way, this is why I think people say he's the long lost child of Michael Jordan. He get busy on the other end too, right? So in the last game, he had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Very balanced stat line. The 24 points you would think would mean that Minnesota will be going home, but Julius Randle had 29. You got Rudy Gobert that plays defense and protects the rim. Minnesota might be a juggernaut, man. And
they got a good team, man. When they got 27 points out of Rudy Gobert because they needed it.
27 to 24. Don't discount his rebound.
He always gets to 24, but I'm saying like the 27 points out of him because that's what happened. And I'm gonna that's where the new generation I think sometimes is coming along. And I will give Ant-Man credit. He's not so ball dominant that he can't, I'll say I criticize him, so I'm gonna take the criticism back. He can get disappearing sometimes, but sometimes I think he lets people cook when they're cooking. Like Randall. Randall's has been all over the place.
I think that is the positive of the AAU generation, meaning a lot of these guys like Ant-Man played with a lot of his peers, starting at 11, 12, 13 years old, and has been in a situation where, all right, I'm on a team with a bunch of all-stars from around the country. I can sit back and let them cook. Whereas back in the day, you couldn't do that. And I think we've held LeBron, not to have an arbitrary discussion about LeBron, but a lot of people, myself included, held LeBron to this Kobe standard. Whereas in the AAU space, I think they're much more accustomed to sharing the spotlight, allowing somebody else to get off from a scoring perspective because they've been in that environment a lot longer. And Ant-Man seems to thrive in it, man. So we'll see what he's able to do. But if the Ant-Man can win a championship this early in his career in year 5, he's done something that a lot of superstars, great first ballot Hall of Famers couldn't. And he's done so as the undeniable, unequivocal leader of that team. Everybody else is in support role, including Julius Randle.
And I'm going to say it again. I think Ant-Man will beat Oklahoma City. I don't think he'll beat Denver.
Denver's got a lot of experience, so we shall see.
Rudy Gobert, he can't do anything with Joker.
We are in the Western Conference Final, and there will be no LeBron James. There will be no Steph Curry. So I say this with all love and support and consideration. Somebody call security. That generation, the LeBron, Steph, you can throw Kawhi and James in there. That generation better understand that the torch is officially being passed.
It was passed last year.
The other game that celebrates that same theory, that the torch is officially being passed. You got SGA versus the Joker. Somehow, some way, Denver at home was able to do the Hulk Hogan. They was almost out.
Sure.
But on that third one, they resuscitated power. They found their inner Hulk Hogan, and they have pushed this series to a, what do we like to say, the most famous and beautiful 2 words in all of sports tend to be
Game 7.
Game 7 for MVP.
I do like that, though. I do like that. The winner gets MVP.
They should put the trophy in the middle of the court before the game. They should have Joker on one side, SGA on one side. Take a picture. Because whoever wins this game, while they say that the playoffs shouldn't matter, whoever wins this game, somebody call security and give that person the trophy. Who you got winning, man? You got Denver. They got to go on the road to play in OKC. The environment's going to be crazy. This is why the NBA is holding on to a small market team. Because there's nothing else going on in Oklahoma right now. People are not going to go to work today because they're so excited about this upcoming Game 7. the entire state will be watching on pins and needles because this small market team in Oklahoma City is going to be where the entire global basketball community sets its focus for Game 7. Who you got? SGA, the Joker. Somebody's got to win the game, and by doing so, probably win the MVP. Who you got?
Who do I want? Who do I have?
Answer however you want to, man. Just don't be racist, man, because the white dude and the black dude. Don't be racist, man. They're racist.
See what you did there? You see how you framed that up? So now, see?
Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Now answer how you answer.
So I want Oklahoma City to win.
Why so? You want them to win? You like the younger team? What do you like about OKC? They built it organically. What do you like about OKC?
I just feel like OKC it's their turn to go and do something. Man, nothing good to hack Oklahoma. But that I do like the young fella coming up. I like the way they play defense. Their heart's getting taken out of them. I could just feel it, just pulling the energy out. But I don't think nobody's gonna beat Joker. I don't think I'm gonna beat him. I think he's gonna come in. I'm gonna say this too. I've always said I don't think that Westbrook or Harden would ever win championships. It would be ironic though, if he beats Oklahoma City to get his first. I mean, it's not his first championship from winning that series, but you know,
going to the Western Conference Final, absolutely
going through it. But like, if you watch Westbrook the way I watch Westbrook. He always does something real stupid at the end of the game. And just when I say, yep, there he goes again, he does something real sweet and they win the game. He does. I've seen it happen like 4 or 5 times now. I just don't see anybody beating that Joker, man. I think Joker's – and I think right now everybody in Oklahoma City is going to bed with doubt. When they go to sleep, they're like, oh, man, these motherfuckers got us. They got us.
Only when there is an imminent threat should you call security. Mm-hmm. Boys and girls, OKC, you did everything right. You built it organically. You have a global superstar in SGA. You went out there and put forth one of the best seasons of all time, going 68-14 in the regular season. You have role players that are unapologetic about playing their role. You have a front office that gets credit for building through the draft. You have the benefit of avoiding all the conversations about free agency. You got a community, a city, and hell, a state that will sell their lung to be in that arena and support you. But let me just tell you, you better call security. Mm-hmm. There's an imminent threat. And the imminent threat is this thing called experience. Experience is something in sport that it doesn't always add up. The math on paper with Westbrook, arguably, not even arguably, definitely at times, being the Robin to Joker's Batman, that doesn't add up. When Russ Westbrook is looked to for scoring, not his energy, not his defensive prowess, not his grit, but his scoring, that team shouldn't be competitive. And yet, the threat of experience is going to rear its ugly head. I think Denver wins Game 7, man. And I think, unfortunately, the naysayers are then going to say that Joker deserves the MVP. That's where I disagree. I think deserves the MVP.
I think you have to award it before the playoffs, or you have to say the playoffs count. But you cannot give it in the middle or towards the end of the playoffs and then say not the playoffs. Because for me, watching right now, it's no hands down the Joker, right? But the regular season says a different story. So just give it out at the end of the regular season. You know what I mean? But if I look at the playoffs, it's not even close.
Joker has been everything and then some.
Good, man. He's too good. He pissed you off. He's so good. It's too good, man. Even when you
man.
stop
So
him,
should be a good one,
Joker's
man.
so
Game
smart.
7.
Nice.
Hopefully you find somewhere fun to watch it. It's not like that. When the elimination game speaks to both teams, win or go home. This is the NCAA March Madness vibe that we love, and that's why Game 7 is just fantastic. It should be a great game. Great game.
Joker gonna win the whole thing by himself.
You think so?
We
shall see. The other team, man, that put together just a phenomenal regular season was the Cleveland Cavs. And while they had a great season going 64-18 in the regular season, somebody called security because in these playoffs, we're seeing that the parity suggests that the regular season doesn't matter. Yeah. Somebody called security because the NBA and the conspiracy theories that have been hurled out there about Adam Silver and the NBA ushering the Luka trade in order to get more eyeballs on TV sets to watch the regular season. The NBA, there's an imminent threat.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing that these playoffs are undermining the importance of the regular season. This is what led to load management. This is why we did a play-in game. We wanted to create some importance of the regular season. But now you got the three of the top teams, right? The Celtics are on the ropes.
Yeah.
You've got OKC. It's a Game 7. And you got Cleveland. They gone. They gone home. Things got rocky in Cleveland, but because of the same thing, we said earlier, call the doctor. At one point, you had Garland out, Mobley out, and Hunter out. And at the end, you had the Spider-Man playing on a bum ankle on Donovan Mitchell while he was extraordinary in his effort. I'm putting him also in that same category, the imminent threat of this new generation taking the baton, right? Man, and I framed it, the torch is being passed. Truth of the matter is, they snatching the baton out their hand. It ain't even, it's not even their leg yet. They're snatching the baton out of their hand, some of these younger teams. And Cleveland also might be in trouble because they had a phenomenal season, and yet it ends the way it ends. All in all, do we need to call security for what's going on in Cleveland, or is it set up for them to have sustained success going forward beyond this season? The playoffs is what it is. People will give them credit for the injuries and understand that a young team with those injuries at that time would have been a tough spot. But truth be told, is that roster constructed to be successful going forward?
I think Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland's not. They're not on anybody's favorite list. It's not a major market. It's not like their owners just somebody everyone loves, whatever. I don't think there's anything rigged for them. If that's what you suggested before, just I don't know.
Not rigged to them. We'll get into what the conspiracy theorists are saying. When I look at this roster, and Garland played, but you could tell he wasn't himself. Same with Hunter. Mobley came back and played okay. They do look on paper like a real juggernaut going forward beyond this season. And 64-18 is nothing to brush off.
Yeah.
That's real success in the regular season. So we shall see when it comes to Cleveland. I feel bad, the timeliness or lack thereof of their injuries. It's never a good time to get hurt. But, man, they were rocking and rolling until they weren't. Beyond that, the bigger concern for me is, doesn't this show that the regular season doesn't matter? The tale of the Cavaliers shows that, man, take your 64-18 and go some damn where. Don't matter.
I think the seeding I'm sorry. The seeding of the West there was 2 games separating 3 from playing, right? And so, I mean, on an 82-game season, that's a rounding error. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even, statistically speaking, that's nothing.
But
so
Cleveland situation. Cleveland was in the class of
no, but I'm just saying, like, how the parity is getting there. I mentioned earlier, the Lakers showed you back in the day that just get to the playoff. The Lakers kind of quietly started a little bit of that load management stuff back in the Kobe days when they were still winning championships and just kind of limping along through the season and then kind of tearing it on the end, and they would come and win and get to the championship. So with 82 games and the seeding is hard to be like, it's 82 games, man. You know what I mean? Like, you got hot. Sometimes people they pot on a bunch of wins and the guy's not even there anymore, or the coach is gone. There's so many things. It's just a long, long season. So I don't think the seedings make much difference at all. I don't know. I think Cleveland has a nice team right now. I didn't see them coming. Did you before the season started?
No, I know, but it's back-to-back seasons because Miami Heat as a player made it to the finals. I just think that what I'm trying to get to is there's a deeper problem that is manifesting itself right before our very eyes. And this season, I think, was a litmus test. The Luka trade, and you can go test this theory because the metrics support it. The Luka trade is what got people to start watching NBA again. The regular season viewership was horrible until that point in the season. So I think there's something going on here that is supporting the idea that the regular season isn't worth watching.
Do you think it was the Luka trade, or do you think it was the timing? Like, I watched I'm a sports guy, right? Obviously, I have a sports podcast. I have a hard time watching the NBA until it's starting to shake out a little bit. I have a hard time. I'll watch a game here and there, but I have a hard time carrying when it's so early. But when, after the All-Star break, after trades like that happen with Luka at the end, people starting to gear up towards the end. I say, all right, come on, let's go. It's plus also some of the shows are on their season finales and stuff. You start getting reruns on some of your regular TV shows and watch it, do whatever. So, what we haven't said, and I feel like I'm taking left, we didn't talk about pregame, is what do you think Nico is doing? How big do you think Nico's cigar is now?
Well, we'll get to that because what's up, Mark? My man Mark says the East is weaker division and Cleveland needs a point guard besides Garland. Spider can't continue to run the team and still score 30 plus. I agree with you there in terms of what they should be thinking next year. But Mark also in his previous comment, thank you for commenting, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag, tag anyone you know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast like our guy Mark has done with this comment and his subscription. So he asked, so New Orleans trades, this rhetorical. He says New Orleans trades AD and gets the number one pick for Zion. Dallas trades Luka and gets the number one pick. Is the lottery rigged? I think what the NBA has done is taken a page out of the NFL book in the sense that they want to have a 12-month calendar for their news cycle. And the lottery, which has been ceremonious for most of the time, took on a whole different sense of urgency because of Cooper Flag. The Dallas Mavericks had a whopping 1.8% chance of getting the number one pick. 1.8%.
You know how many nerdy fat ugly dudes will have to shoot their shot at the next hot chick at the bar? They're gonna say, "You saying I got a chance?" There's 1.8% chance this girl's gonna talk to me.
1.8%. If somebody has a 1.8% free throw percentage average, you're going to go hack a Shaq. You're fouling them every time. It's almost certain that they're going to miss 1.8. And yet, the same Dallas Mavericks, with that same Nico Harris that we devoted an entire show to, that was persona non grata and almost escorted out of Dallas. You talk about somebody called security. Everywhere the man went, he needed security. And now they get the number one pick.
And so that was the result of the trade too, right?
Is it rigged?
The ball that was in the hole was the result of the trade too, right? Isn't that what
one was a result of the trade? They had a flip of a coin that got them to the top four. So their percentages increased drastically then, but still, like, I didn't see both sides.
I told y'all. If Kyrie come back, don't let Kyrie come back healthy. Cooper Flag, AD for half the season and Kyrie. Or they might go and flip that up. They say they might go and flip it up. They try to get the freak down there.
Get the freak and trade. I don't think that Nico, because you brought this came up because you brought up the topic, Nico. Nico could not, I don't think, because of his own security, his own peace of mind, his own mental health. I don't think Nico Harris can even entertain moving that pick that is the presumptive pick being Cooper Flag after already moving Luka this year. You can't do that. You cannot. You move a white dude from Eastern Europe, cool. But a white dude from Maine who's going to be the first American-born white player drafted #1 since 1977? You can't do that, Nico. I don't think you, Nico. Hey. If I'm Nico's friend, I'm calling him and being preemptive. Nico, don't even think about it, bro. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. No, I know you said you got a 3-year window. I know you said you want to win right now, but you also want to live right now, right? You can't do it, Nico.
I got this. He's the, he plays roulette. He's one of those dudes that makes money in roulette. It's hard unless you got the system to go make money with roulette. We have a friend I won't name, Emmett Mosley, that we go to the casino.
I won't name.
And he gets on one of these moves. He starts killing money at roulette. He'll pick a number and it'll hit 3 times in a row.
And he think he's sweet.
So he got that Nico vibe right now. Nico is like, look, I got this. We're gonna get the number. We're gonna pair this trade off. We're gonna get the #1 pick, right? Because I was saying this before. You don't give away a Luka. You don't give away the face of it. The NBA is starting to get international anyway, right? Half the stars, half the best players in the NBA are international. You're starting to appeal to so many different people, and you got a legitimate non-black player that's killing. You don't give that away from a marketability. But he said, "I'm going to get another one. Don't worry about him. I got one.
Right.
I'm going to the casino with Nico. Me and Nico going to the casino. He knows what he's doing." We are in a success and results-driven society. He knows what he's doing.
You think he knows what he's doing?
He knows what he's doing.
If
he had to sacrifice Kyrie's need to make sure that they didn't make the playoffs so they could get a ball in that little thing. He knows what he's doing.
I'll tell you what. If he messed this up, the ghost of Kent Benson will arrive. You know who that is, right? The last white American player in 1977, 45 years ago, that was
Larry Bird
#1 in the NBA. Kent Benson.
Larry.
You better not do it, Nico. I mean, everything ain't about race, but you got away with it once. Ain't no way he can get away with it twice. If that man trades that pick, you talk about somebody called security. They already wanted him out of Dallas. I don't think he can do it. The question was, though, is it rigged? Did Adam Silver, right? You could imagine the call. Hey, yo, Nico, check this out, player. And Nico like, man, you out your mind? They gonna kill me in Dallas. And then Adam Silver says something like that. Yeah, but yeah, player, what if I could guarantee you the #1 pick after you traded Luka? And my voice impersonations aren't good, but you can imagine the back and forth that led to the conspiracy theories that have been put out there. You can hear that conversation being very rational. Is it rigged? Do you think Adam Silver had the fix in to make sure Nico and the Mavs got that #1 pick and therefore can draft Cooper Flag or move him as a piece? But is it rigged?
Nico, what number do I bet when I go to the casino on the roulette? Because I'm putting up 100 bands. I'm gonna put 100 bands on it because I know you can. And look here, Nico. I'm with you, Nico.
Hey, Nico might have been real aggressive at home when they got that #1 pick.
I told y'all, motherfucker.
His wife might have been.
You know how it's like Domino? Ooh, Domino. And the best like Miss America. They don't even say who has the first. They tell you the first. And the first runner-up is so-and-so. And the bug who win. You can't celebrate when your name is called.
They showed that war room in Dallas. They got crunked.
I slapped the shit out of you. You telling me I got the first pick? I told y'all was sweating. You was sweating me. You was sweating me. And you can't tell him nothing.
You can't tell him nothing.
This is America. Results driven, baby.
The whole conversation with his wife had a very different tone to it that night. Nico went from being a mark, he went from, what is it? Not the GOAT or the what do they call the other one? The opposite of GOAT. He became.
Why you ruin my whole shit, but Mark? You saying the Bulls, but you know the Bulls would ruin Cooper Flag. I'm glad we didn't get him. We suck.
The Bulls had a chance because of that flip of the coin, but it went in the Mavs' favor. And I don't know anyone who's seen both sides of the coin. I'll just leave it there. Because ain't no way. In this episode, somebody called security. Please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone you know. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. Let's go home with a few nuggets, man, because we talk about Chicago and the Bulls not getting Cooper Flag. The NFL schedules came out. We're going to talk about those quickly. But before we do, I want two nuggets from the NFL, both in the quarterback position. The first one, inspired by my man Mark, and a mention of that city that is windy, that happens to not be windy. It goes from very cold to very hot in the middle coast. The first one is Caleb Williams, who unprovoked, so I think.
I don't like that.
And even if the provocation was just a question, nobody held a gun to his head to make him divulge this to us. Caleb Williams, in the most inexplicable fashion, tells us that he wanted to be the John Elway. He wanted to be the Shedeur Sanders. He wanted to do what he needed to do from a strategic standpoint to avoid Chicago. Why you would say that after Chicago drafted you and showed their faith in you?
We don't like you, no way.
I don't know, but he said it. Your quarterback said it. He wanted to avoid the Windy City.
No, not my quarterback.
He wanted to avoid fans like you. And now I need to know, in this episode of Somebody Call Security, what do you think about your quarterback? What do you think the Bears fans are going to do to him if things don't go right this year?
Hey, we ain't want you neither. We wanted the boy out of Washington. That's who we wanted. We ain't want your ass either. Old nail polish football player.
But now you got him. Now you got him. So what's up? Y'all are bad together. Now what's up?
We just went out and got you a couple receivers, tight end. Man, in the offseason, put you in the line together, and then you're going to come out and say some old bullshit like that. Man, look here, man. Don't say that shit like that. So when they boo you, you're going to say what? Your mama, can you put me in a blanket?
His mama gonna hug him.
Yeah. We got. Hey, hold on. You ain't even recognize it. You ain't even recognize my Pope. I can't believe Mark. Appreciate you. And Mark Jewish. Hey, you ain't even recognize my Pope, man. We got a Pope before we had a 400,000-yard passer. That's such a terrible stat. But
he's considered Spanish, but he was born in Chicago. Is that what it is?
He's Haitian from Chicago.
Haitian from Chicago.
If you don't believe me, I'm gonna send you the video out of his mouth. He's Haitian from Chicago.
I know that. That's a whole different topic.
His grandparents, both of his grandparents, born in Haiti. What'd that make you?
I guess that makes you Haitian, according
Haitian.
to my Haitian.
But he, and you know what? I'm glad we brought him up. Hey, appreciate you, Mark, for bringing him up. He could teach you how to do an interview. They asked him, was he black? He said, that's never been a topic in my family. What a great fucking answer, right? It's never been a topic. What a great way to answer it. I'm not going to say no.
He can't lie because he's the Pope. So
it's never been a topic in my family. Done. What can we say? I don't know. I've never asked anybody if I was black. Both my grandparents is from Haiti, but it's never been a topic. What a great answer.
Maybe that is what your boy should have done. Even if
Caleb, that's what I'm talking about. Caleb's ass supposed to have been listening to the Pope and realized, did you want to go to Bears? Well, we never discussed where I wanted to land. That's fine. Everybody does. I want to get drafted.
Nope.
I didn't want to go to this motherfucker either. I wanted to go to Minnesota.
He took the call.
I hope they clown him when we go to Minnesota.
He took the call in the nail salon while getting freshly painted, getting acrylic up. They asked him the question, and he answered it, essentially divulging to not only all NFL fans globally, but more importantly to his own Chicago Bears fans, that he had orchestrated a plan to avoid at all costs the Windy City. And yet, this is the guy you guys have on this.
There's no question alive, even under oath, that requires that type of answer. I mean, you could even say what you meant, but at least make me have to think.
They applaud him in the deposition like this damn fool went.
You should just answer the question, yes or no. This motherfucker got in there and said, at all costs, I wanted to avoid Chicago. God damn. Where do you live, buddy? I hope somebody slaps the shit out of his ass.
So we go from that extreme, fans, NFL fans, clinging on to the love of their team, and by doing so, needing to support a quarterback that gets his nails painted and says dumb things, to the other extreme. My team, the Cleveland Browns, we got ourselves a quarterback. You can say what you want to say, but every expert has said
one of them boys could throw.
Shedeur Sanders, you know what I'm talking about. Shedeur.
How your mama doing?
Hey, your mama doing, Shedeur. He has outplayed the other rookie quarterback in rookie minicamp. They said he looks like a consummate professional in terms of how he has presence in the pocket. His answers to questions have been brilliant. They asked him, are you going to buy the number 2? And he, in a very hilarious fashion, said, man, wait my signing bonus. I can't afford to buy nothing. And I loved it. Shedeur Sanders is going to be the steal of the draft. You heard it here first. Shedeur Sanders is going to be the ticket for Deshaun
Pretty
Watson
sure somebody else said that.
out of the NFL. Shedeur Sanders for Rookie of the Year. Possible league MVP. I said it here first. Shedeur.
Pass him that year.
I'm gonna go buy me a number 12, man.
Okay. You do a lot of buying. I don't know where they're selling it, but you got a lot of buying. Okay.
Let's go, Shedeur. I think Shedeur is going to be quite the quarterback, man. So
look at this dude over here. Mark trying to get onto the show. He trying to get a seat. Look at this kind of nonsense he got. Look at
I didn't even see. What do you say? First cross sport trade, Myles Garrett for Giannis. I love that.
That sounds so crazy.
Creative.
Hey, give it a shot. See what it do. Yeah. So when he go to Green Bay or when he go to Chicago? You know, we're closer to Milwaukee than Green Bay.
I don't know. There are a lot of interesting, creative ways in which the NFL announced their schedule this year. And I wanted to show one that really caught my attention because it was pretty funny, man. So what they've done in the NFL is the schedules come out, but they let each one of the franchises decide how they show the schedule. And some been a little more interactive than others. But this is one that I just had to show, man. It's hilarious, but it also shows just how politically correct we are. I'll show it. For background, this is a situation where the Colts, who play the Dolphins, I imagine, or else it wouldn't have made sense to even include this, made a reference to Tyreek Hill that was not so subtle. In this episode, somebody called security. If you will recall, there was an officer dispatched and there was a traffic violation that ended with Tyreek Hill face down on the pavement. And he didn't say call security. He said, call Drew, call my agent. And the Indianapolis Colts poked fun at it while revealing their schedule. So I'll show it now. Fun times, man. You gotta love this thing. You gotta love it.
Spawning what turned out to be an NFL schedule release disaster, issuing an apology to Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill after trying to win some viral street cred. In the now deleted video, Indianapolis appears to be making light of Hill's controversial 2024 arrest when officers dragged him out of his car in Miami as he tried to drive to a game. No charges from that, but the serious incidents playing out in Minecraft form, banking on the popularity of the billion-dollar box office hit that's huge among.
You think they went too far?
Yeah.
You think they went too
far? That's facts right there. And that's funny. It wasn't like it was domestic violence or some drug offense or something. He got pulled over for trying to be big time, and he got pulled out. So no, it's not too far. It happened. They didn't tell you not to come out the car.
I love that Tyreek Hill wanted them to keep it. It's like, man, y'all should have kept that up there. But we so politically correct, man. They had to remove it. But what a great way.
That's so disrespectful.
Oh, man, they had the Coast Guard get this dude from the water, man, to show that they keep the Dolphins.
I just like people who put that much effort into hate. Like somebody said, anybody good with Minecraft? Let's get this thing going.
Minecraft, you know. But what a great way, man, to show some of the NFL schedule releases. That was my favorite. I hate that they had to take it down. The NFL has figured out a way to extend its news cycle for 12 months. And I think, like I said, with the NBA, you had the lottery. You know, the NBA this week, they're talking about the combine and some of the measurements. And everybody, we're looking at how tall they are barefoot. We got to see Janai, I always mess up his name, Broom from Auburn, have essentially the lowest vert ever, standing vert. It was like 24 inches, and they showed a 6'6", the 400-pound guy from Florida, the defensive tackle, the zero technique, had a 24.5. So I'm assuming Janai and Broom
couldn't dunk on a nerf hoop,
but it shows just how interesting the extension of the calendar is, and how much attention, even from a NBA combine standpoint, how they are taking a page out of the NFL page book and making sure the news cycles last all year. But I thought, man, those schedule releases were amazing. I'm looking forward to a great year. I believe in Shedeur. I believe in the Browns. Can you, on this date, in this episode, the Somebody Call Security episode, can you say the same for your Chicago Bears?
You know, I feel good about the Bears if they didn't have that punk-ass quarterback.
Oh, now you got to be a punk-ass quarterback? Because
I didn't like him. I said from before the draft I didn't want to pick him.
You did. You did.
I don't mess with him, man. I don't do all that.
But the reason you gave is because the boy put his head in his mom's bosom and cried. That's no reason not to draft somebody.
And this is the same moist-ass dude that's telling you that he tried to not get picked by the Bears. This is the type of shit that you say. You say you prejudging a man because he jumped into his mama's arms in a stadium full of fucking cameras and during the thing and got held up. You said I was being quick to judge. But look at this moist-ass behavior he's doing right here.
It's consistent.
Giving crazy-ass interviews. Saying outlandish type of shit.
It's consistent.
You know? Again, if you want to paint your nails, that's cool. But don't do it in a football setting. You shouldn't match the uniform. That's not really how we do. It's not really how we do. You know what I'm saying? You can be whatever you want to do. Whatever. I heard a story the other day about Michael Sams, right? And this shit was funny as hell.
Michael Sams being the first openly gay player, college player drafted into the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is so politically incorrect, but funny as shit. I'm just quoting it, so don't cancel me. He said in the draft room, Michael Sams, they announced it before, hey, we're going to pick Michael Sams, kind of preparing everybody for this big historic moment. We're going to draft Michael Sams and do whatever. And then after Michael Sams gets drafted, his boyfriend comes over and gives him a kiss on the mouth, right?
With cake and everything. I remember that. The
camera, all the cake on and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And somebody in the war room said, damn, usually you got to work to your second contract to get the white bitches. Shit had me weak. He already got one. He got him a
I did hear that. They were saying it lightened the mood immediately. You got like this uber toxic masculinity environment that is a war room in the NFL. Which one are we going to draft? And they
broke
said,
the ice.
Statement, while they joke, lighten the mood immediately.
Immediately. That's the type of shit. So I'm saying is the point was, they knew it was game before, but that's just an unfootball moment type shit. This wasn't the time for that. Cake and shit, all that type of stuff. But that's why, with Caleb, Caleb can be gay. That's fine. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? Gay is normal as shit at this point. But you leading men and you say real weird shit. You're already having a hard time leading the men. and you say real weird shit.
They are your security. The offensive lineman that
You don't
was
want to be
there,
here.
right, who predated you,
Mhm.
has now been within earshot of hearing you say that strategically you were trying to avoid the Chicago Bears because they are whatever. They got this freaking. They're a leper as a franchise. They got the scar.
The worst thing is I agree with him, and I still think that was a terrible thing to say.
You don't say it. I agree with him too. You know what I think about the Bears, and it's not very high. I think of the Bears, but you just don't say it. You can think it, but you don't
maybe
say
he's trying to get traded.
Too early. I will say this, man, because the WNBA is back. I think the WNBA did a phenomenal job of in their preseason going on college campuses and seizing the momentum of college basketball, women's college basketball. So there's some phenomenal exhibition games or preseason games. But then towards the end of the preseason, 2 days ago, there was a question posed to Angel Reese that was like, you said last year that the WNBA was more than just one person, and Caitlin Clark. And before the reporter could get the question out, next question. And it reminded me that the WNBA is back. It reminded me that disdain between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is alive and well. It reminded me that we have gotten to the point in 2025 that women ain't trying to be all in some historical role. They out there kicking ass on that damn court and taking names. They don't need to be sitting back in a passive manner in an interview setting and dealing with their local press and answer that silly ass question. Next question, please. The WNBA is back in year number 29. We talked about the momentum. We talked about the 3-on-3 by way of ETP, and we're here. The WNBA is going to rival the NBA for viewership. It's finally been to the mountaintop.
If talk yourself into a corner was a person, he would have a gold chain on and a hat in front of a picture of Dapper Dan.
Hey,
come on!
I want to see the WNBA this year, man. Somebody call
I do too. I'm gonna do it too. And you know what? I'm gonna take I'm gonna take back what I said pregame and say, Angel Reese knew what she's doing. She's smart. She's trying to make some hoopla out of that type of stuff. Let's make a headline because whatever she said, whatever answer she would have gave, nobody would care. But for her to say next question. It's like Apollo Creed type shit.
That is boss. Next question. Insult me like that. Next question. Looking forward to seeing some great basketball. There's a new team in the Bay Area. Golden State has a WNBA team now, so that's amazing. I think the expansion of the league. I think the new roles at the executive level in the front office. I think the additional resources deployed for marketing. I think the success of the collegiate game and the timing of that success just being, I think the WNBA is just being, fortuitous in terms of using the success of college women's basketball. But structurally, I think they're in a position to take advantage of that momentum. Should be a great season, man. It's professional sports over the summer, and it ain't baseball. They've done everything to speeding up the game and putting basically a shot clock on pitchers to make MLB more attractive. We just ain't finding as a country. We need more speed. The games or the sports that are a little more action packed, they sit down during the summer, and we're not in the fall yet for the NFL. WNBA, you got your marching orders. You got our attention. Deliver. Wishing them well this year. WNBA is back.
It'll be here.
I'll go home with this. Any ball hog spotlight moment, you know what it is. You got the ball in the middle of the court. All lights are on. We need a bucket. We need it quick. All right. We ain't going to do all of this running our offensive set. This is a ball hog moment. At the end of the day, the ball in your hand. We need to play any topic from sports, business, entertainment. At any level, take us home.
Right now, I want to have a moment of silence. Because right now, I feel really, really bad for one American person that is in a dark place today. That's Cassie's husband. Oh.
The trial of Puffy P. Diddy. I ain't grown enough for that trial.
The trial, I wish they would close off to media.
I'm not.
And Cassie's husband. Those of you who don't know, don't Google it. You're gonna feel bad for this man. But to sit in a courtroom and listen to how they desecrated his wife, and you sitting there and listen to it, everybody over there, everybody looking at you like these.
You kiss said woman on the lips.
She kissed your kid. You have children with this lady. Now I don't want to. This is allegedly abuse. It was abuse. And
she said, and there's a Stockholm syndrome. She said she participated because she didn't want him to be doing the freak off, him being Sean P. Diddy Combs, with other women. And so there's undue influence in that. So we're not minimizing or trying to blame the victim. What we're saying is as it gets more and more descriptive, the real is the real. They're talking about sexual things that happen with a lot of
your
people.
wife.
Yeah.
I want, let's just brief moment of silence. All right, man. So
I like that.
Don't hurt yourself, man.
I can't top that one. So
don't hurt yourself.
I gotta fly to I got kicked out, which is inspired this particular title of this episode. Somebody called security on me when it came to the Nike EYBL circuit. So I'm taking my talents to New Balance, going to the New Balance circuit this week. You know, ain't gonna kick me out. I've been kicked out of better places. I ain't mad at it. But it is what it is. Praying for everyone's health and praying for a safe travel with this Newark airport and all of their issues. And then praying for each and every one of you. You know how we do it. We are thankful from the bottom of our hearts that you guys continue to support us. We ask you humbly, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone you know, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the podcast. It will cost you a grand total of $0. It might cost you 5 seconds to like, comment, share. But you'll be doing a world of favor for us. And we think you'll be doing a world of favor for the person on the other end of it, the recipient, because we do believe we got some good content. In fact, it's the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We do it one way and one way only. That's rough, rugged, and raw. This episode has been titled, Somebody Call Security. Put it in somebody's hands. Put it in their ears. Make them listen. Make them aware of this thing called the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where a few businessmen get together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. You already know the businessmen delivered today, and we plan to deliver again next week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the sport. Enjoy Game 7. Enjoy the WNBA that kicks off tonight. And enjoy this episode because it is yours to keep. Somebody Call Security episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. And with that, with no further ado, we delivered on our obligations. So we is out. Peace.